Good evening, vinyl community. Hi, I hope everybody is doing really well. It's Rob back for another quick video. This is just a vinyl finds roundup of stuff that I've picked up over the last week, either in bricks and mortar or online. So a real sort of a mixed bag. Mainly bricks and mortar, I'm happy to say, but a couple of things did come online. So yeah, I'll get to those in a minute. But yeah, some really strange coincidences as well. And you know, I talk sometimes about this serendipity, and you know, I'm sure you've all experienced it with music and finding gems and or just things that you've been looking for ages, and then something happens, like an omen or a sign or whatever, and you just you know, these records present themselves to you. So it's very strange sometimes the way that works out. But yeah, you may remember a week or so ago I was lamenting the fact that that I was really struggling to find Windham Hill records, and yeah, so yeah, they just suddenly just started to come out the woodwork. It's really weird. This one, which I'm about to show you, was I was delighted to get. A friend of Ben's called Nick, a lovely guy. He watches my channel, or I don't know whether he watches my channel regularly, but he's seen me on YouTube anyway. So, and he was I think he was aware that that I do go into Ben's shop in Stratford, so of which he frequents as well. And yeah, he obviously saw that episode where I was whinging the fact that I couldn't find any Windham Hill records, and he messaged me and said that would I like Windham Hill Records sampler 1981, to which I of course replied, yes please, absolutely, 100%. So he actually packaged this up for me, and bless him, he dropped it off at Ben's for me to pick up. And so yeah, I'd just like to say take this opportunity to we have kind of messaged each other and emailed each other and so on, but I'd like to thank you again, Nick. Thank you so much for this. This is a wonderful early Windham Hill sampler, with just wonderful roll call of artists on. You got William Ackerman, who's the guy who started the label, fantastic guitarist. Bricklayer's Beautiful Daughter, wonderful song. Then we've got great versions of Three Gymnopédie, the wonderful Eric Satie, Suite of Pieces by Bill Quist, Alex DeGrassi, fantastic, love his stuff. And then some lovely piano from George Winston as well on side 2. Just a fabulous compilation in just beautiful condition. I think these are all kind of metal mastered and digitally recorded, but because the arrangements are so simple, they just sound fantastic, absolutely wonderful. And yeah, great artistry and music to go with it. So yeah, delighted beyond words to get that. So yeah, once again, Nick, thank you very much, and hope to bump into you sometime in the shop. And yeah, we said we'd go for a coffee and so on, which should be really nice. So yeah, I'll look forward to that. Okay, so moving on, still with the Windham Hill. So yeah, obviously I'm a big Michael Hedges fan, love his stuff, but have again struggled to find his albums on vinyl, and particularly this one, which is a real favourite, is Aerial Boundaries, and I actually ordered this from a marketplace seller on Amazon. It wasn't expensive. It was only £3 or £4, something like that. Yeah, never thought in a month of Sundays that I'd be picking the vinyl up anytime soon, because I just, like I say, I just never see these records. And Ben messaged me, Aerial Boundaries. So yeah, completely dumbfounded. I mean, he couldn't believe it either, because we've been talking about this record and Windham Hill artists for months, and he's never had any in the shop at all. And yeah, so go figure. Incredible. So yeah, wonderful, in beautiful condition. No ring wear, just lovely 1980s copy of wonderful artist and record. So so yeah, great. I now have I have both a digital copy and an analog copy. So fantastic, great stuff. Okay, and yeah, and another Windham Hill that he had as well was this one, and I had to snap this one up. This is William Ackerman, and this is Past Light. This is his 1983 release. Again, that wonderful inner, which lists all the records, or the latest releases that were released on that label, and there's quite a few of them. Yeah, just incredible stuff. So yeah, very happy to pick those up. Okay, so changing up here, an online purchase that I picked up a couple of days ago. This is a record that he actually had Ben had an original copy of this year or two ago. God knows, must have needed my head looking at why I didn't pick it up. Probably a cash flow thing maybe at the time, but they had a reissue of this on Amazon, so I took a chance and snapped it up. This is his John Martin 1975 release, Sunday's Child. Yeah, a lovely acoustic-y, laid-back album. A couple of bluesy numbers on here, but yeah, just got some fantastic songs on this. Yeah, just wonderful. The opener, One Day Without You, I really like. Yeah, My Baby Girl is superb, which I would imagine he wrote about his daughter. The Message, wonderful. And of course, probably my favourite, which is You Can Discover, which is just a sublime. John Martin is absolute best. So yeah, you know, people often who don't know John Martin's discography really well tend to all just gravitate towards kind of Solid Air and records like that, which is a fantastic album. But you know, he's absolutely this, for me, the best songs on this are as good as anything on Solid Air, in my opinion. So wonderful. Ben actually commented it was interesting because I told him that this was a Czech, and it actually had a sticker on it that it was pressed in the Czech Republic, which are these kind of Jeezy vinyl, etc. I know they're huge pressing plants, and suggested it maybe was a bootleg, but it sounds pretty good, I have to say, although the disc was really filthy. I had to clean it a lot. Obviously it's got the printed inner there with the lyrics, and reproduces the Pink Island label really nicely. Lovely heavyweight vinyl, but as I say, it took a lot of cleaning. There was a lot of dust, debris, and obviously the way that they put them in these cardboard inners, and there was bits of card and paper over the desk. So yeah, that wasn't going anywhere near my stylus until it had had a really, really good clean. So yeah, yeah, I think it's take your chances with a lot of modern represses of albums, you know. They're hit and miss, but that's fortunately was pretty good. So okay, changing it up big time now to the early 80s. Artists that I've never really been a huge fan of. This is Japan, and this is their wonderful album Tin Drum. Really, really like this. This is their last studio album from 1981. I predominantly picked it up because of the single Ghosts, because I love that song, and yeah, it's just got a real kind of atmosphere all of its own. Always really, really enjoyed that when I was younger, as a teenager. So yeah, great to finally pick up a copy of that. It's just on a custom label there. Nothing particularly visually great there, but sounds really good. Really happy to get that in the collection. Okay, and then this was a really nice find. This is adding to my family collection, because I'm really into the group Family. This is their album Anyway. I think again this was from the same collection as Fearless and Bandstand. It's a guy who brought them in who was really, really into Family, and I think he had most of the discography, of which I'm slowly collecting them. But they're all originals and all in fantastic VG++ condition, I would say. So yeah, this kind of comes in this sort of PVC wallet with the title in gold lettering on the top. And yeah, sort of comes in a kind of slip case, which is just like a card, folded card with the lyrics. And yeah, on that Reprise label, Steamboat label. And yeah, from 1970, this one. This is kind of an album of two halves. You've got the first side, which is live, which was recorded at Fairfield Hall in London, and then the second side is studio cuts. So yeah, a really interesting album, just by virtue of the fact that it's quite diverse with the sound, obviously. And yeah, excellent songwriting again. Roger Chapman, wonderful kind of. They just get this kind of strange, bluesy, proggy, jazzy kind of sound. They don't really sound like a lot of bands of their period. Family, they're quite unique. Probably one of the reasons why I like them so much. And yeah, so happy to add that to the Family collection. Okay, and then this is another one I picked up from last week. This is a Tangerine Dream album I never had. I'd heard bits of it on a compilation. This is from 1982. This is called White Eagle. Custom label. Yeah, and this has obviously got the classic lineup of Edgar Foes, Chris Frank, and Johan Schmoling. So, and yeah, it's pretty good. The first side, Majev Plain, is all one track, which is sort of your usual early 80s kind of Tangerine Dream Fair with a kind of sequenced sort of mood that sort of slowly shifts throughout the song, sort of tonal changes, etc. Probably not quite as engaging as Tangram, which I think was the one that was a couple of years before this one, but still pretty good, very listenable, and yeah, an enjoyable album. Okay, so the next few are just kind of upgrades that I couldn't say no to. So this was an upgrade of my favourite Renaissance album, Ashes Are Burning, from 1973. These are all fairly inexpensive. So yeah, wonderful on that Sovereign label. Lovely Annie Haslam, fantastic 4-5 vocal octave range I think she's got. So yeah, obviously sort of very sort of orchestrated classical prog pop, sort of from the sort of early to mid 70s and later, of course. But I've got several of their albums. This one's probably my favourite. Really happy to get that. Also picked up an upgrade of this, which is my favourite Cat Stevens album, Mona Bona Jaken, that wonderful double entendre, which we all like those in England, don't we? And yeah, this was kind of his transition album from 1970, just before kind of Tea for the Tillerman and sort of superstardom. But it's just wonderful, very emotional songs. A real depth in his lyrics as well. I think he was quite ill. He had pneumonia. I think he'd written most of these whilst he was kind of recovering in hospital. So yeah, you got Lady Darbanville, wonderful. Maybe You're Right. Wonderful Trouble. And then I think it's Kathmandu, the song with Peter Gabriel playing flute on. Again on lovely Pink Rim Island. In wonderful, wonderful, wonderful condition. My other copy I bought from a record fair for a couple of quid and it was pretty wrecked. So I've been on the lookout for an upgrade. I was nearly tempted to buy those special editions that I think Yusuf bought out last year. There was that and Tea for the Tillerman and one of the other ones, Teaser and the Firecat, I think. But I sort of bulked a £70–80 price tag, I think they were. So okay, another upgrade. Wonderful Roberta Flack's first album, First Take. Lovely, lovely minty copy of that on that kind of turquoisey orange Atlantic label. Yeah, so 1969, I think this one. First track Compared to What, wonderful. I Told Jesus, and of course the sublime First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Immortalised, and of course Play Misty for Me with Clint Eastwood. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Okay, and also an upgrade of the first 10cc album, Yada Yada. Yeah, the reason I picked this up was because there's no actual inner with this, but it's just the mintiest, cleanest sleeve I've ever seen of this album, because obviously a bit like the White Album and a lot of vinyl albums that are white, the ring wear really shows up, and the sort of the wear, etc. Lovely clean spine. Yeah, just almost like brand new. Had to pick that up, so I'll do a Frankenstein job on that to make that complete. And this last one, another story. I ordered a copy, a reissue of this album a couple of weeks ago, and because I just hadn't been able to find it in the wild. It's not a particularly rare album. It's been reissued several times on the Island label, so yeah, when it arrived from Amazon, the spine was split on it, and I didn't even think to open and seal it, because I figured if the spine was split, there was a good chance that the vinyl was damaged within. So just straight onto Amazon return. The post office down the road from us takes Amazon return, so whole process took about 15 minutes. It was dead easy, and got it refunded. So and then literally 2 days after that, Ben emailed me and showed me a picture of an early 70s press of this. So this was White Noise, sorry, an Electric Storm. So this is this is the early 70s copy of their first album from 1969, an absolute seminal electronic psychedelic album. Just absolutely doesn't sound like anything else. Very, very, very influential. Sort of brainchild of David Vorhaus, who's a kind of keyboard electronics wizard, and Delia Derbyshire, who worked for the BBC Electronic Workshop, was sort of instrumental in putting together the sounds that would become the Doctor Who theme, which, you know, when you listen to that in retrospect, it must have been an awesome thing to hear in 1963. Because it would have just sounded like absolutely nothing else, as does this record. And I remember hearing this for the first time in mid-80s, and I hadn't a clue who this guy was or this record, and I was pretty naive, pretty new to any sort of avant-garde kind of music. My friend who had this got me extremely stoned on some very strong hashish, and turned the lights off and put this album on and played it in its entirety. And by the time it had finished, I was a gibbering wreck in the corner. Absolutely just blew my mind completely and utterly. Yeah, but it's an interesting album. It's a real record of, for me, of two sides. The first side has got these kind of very strange sort of electronic, jazzy, kind of psychedelic, twisted, idiosyncratic kind of slightly poppy kind of songs. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just just very strange lyrics that are almost humorous, and I absolutely love them. I absolutely adore the first side of this record. The second side is called The Visitation, yeah, about this kind of if you kind of read the narrative, it's sort of about a visitation of sort of disembodied spirit of a girl sort of meeting her boyfriend or lover who's died, and then this black mass electric storm in hell, which is just unbelievable. The sound effects and so on. Apparently some of the sound effects of that were used on Dracula AD 1972, so I read. So yeah, but definitely an unsettling listen, but absolutely an unforgettable one as well. Yeah, wonderful to pick this up. So this is as I say, this is a sort of early mid-70s press on that 70s Island label. But yeah, it's not really not difficult to come across, because it has been reissued lots of times. So, but yeah, finally, never owned it. well, even though I've heard it loads and loads of times, but glad to finally get a vinyl copy. So that's it, guys. That's me done. So yeah, hope you're all having a good weekend. We're getting some lovely weather here now in the UK. Been going out walking, as well as obviously hanging around Ben's in the shop, trying not to spend too much money. But yeah, I dare say Richard McCook will be scheming to come out with his devilish quiz for us all, probably by sometime tomorrow. So I shall look forward to that. Anyway, guys, have a great evening and the rest of your weekend, and all the very best. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.